I have been reading, going through the Bible in my Bible time, and I'm in Exodus, the 27th chapter. Well, that's where I was at yesterday. And I want to read something to you because I think it ties in with what I want to, the point that I really want to get across today. But in Exodus chapter 27, verses 20 and 21, the last two verses of this chapter, it says, "You shall command the people of Israel that they bring to you pure beaten olive oil for the light, and that a lamp may regularly be set up to burn in the tent of meeting outside the veil that is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall tend it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever to be observed throughout their generation by the people of Israel." It shall be a statute forever. We find today in the story as we go through that they didn't follow the statutes that God had laid before them. They did not do the things that He had asked them to do, and they did not do the things that they had promised that they would do. God gave all these commandments and stuff on the Mount Sinai, and the people of Israel said, "Oh yes, we'll do them." Until tomorrow. We'll do them until next week. We'll do them until the next generation. We'll do them for a short period of time. And realize that the northern kingdom, after the kingdom divided, lasted for 208 years. You might want to start putting some numbers together in your head about how long has the United States been here. I'm serious when I say that. It said, what if the USA had kings instead of presidents? Did you know that George Washington was asked to be a king of America during the Revolutionary War? You might not get taught this at school anymore, but pay close attention, okay? George Washington was both a Christian and as a praying man rejected the offer. He believed that there was only one king, a motto that was shouted often during the Revolutionary War, no king but King Jesus. And here's an actual quote from the Revolutionary War found on the Catholic Education website. It says this: "In 1774, a report to King George of England, the governor of Boston, noted, 'If you ask an American who is his master, he will tell you that he has none nor any governor but Jesus Christ.' The pre-war colonial committees of correspondence soon made the American motto, 'No king but King Jesus,' and this sentiment was carried over into 1783 peace treaty with Great Britain, ending the war which began in the name of the most holy and undivided Trinity." That's a quote. That's what the forefathers of our country thought. Today, we need to put a quote in our head, and we need to use it. Oh, it's the same quote. No king but King Jesus. We need to elevate Jesus Christ to the position He so richly deserves. He cannot be our king only when things are going good. He has to be our king when everything is going bad, too. And we were reflecting a little bit in Sunday school class, and Rhonda and I were reflecting of the last 3 weeks, and Sandy was reflecting over the last 3 weeks of no water, no power, the pump giving out at Sandy's house, our pipes freezing up on our motor home, and this last week, the drain didn't want to work. And you start beginning, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And the truth of the matter is, God will take care of it. If we trust Him, things will work out. By the way, the drain's working. I don't have water leak. I got power. And Sandy's got water at her house and power at her house too. See, when we trust God and allow Him and the things that He has given to us, they will work. The problem with the northern kingdom, which is going to disappear, never to come back, the problem with the northern tribes is they didn't want to listen to God. And their kings didn't want to listen to God. There's nothing worse than a ruler who is evil. And evil can take all sorts of shapes and forms, and it's not always... Evil does not mean that somebody sent out a mean tweet. Evil does not mean that somebody's got a lot of money. Evil can be as simple as not being able to ride a bicycle. Evil can be as simple as not being able to remember when you held a certain office. And evil can be people keeping people in power who should not be there. I don't say that just to be political. I say that because when we look at the history of the children of Israel, that's what happened to them. And because of that, God took 10 of the 12 tribes. Assyria took them into captivity and they never returned. And they were warned. If you look at 2 Kings 17:13, we find that there's no good kings there in the northern kingdom. If we look at 17:18, we find out that God had told them exactly what was going to happen. And it did. The children of Israel, I'm going to say this, I said this, they remind me so much of teenagers. They really do. You know, mom and dad say, hey, you know what, you do that, this is the consequences. And what do they do anyway? Exactly what mom and dad, and then they're shocked. They're in awe and shocked when the consequences are exactly what they were told they were going to be. If you do not clean your room, I will not be doing your laundry. Mom, I don't have any clothes to wear. Well, shocked, they're still in your room. You didn't clean it. And I didn't go in to do your laundry. If you don't do and follow my commands, you are going to go into captivity. Shock. That's exactly what happened. We should not be shocked. We should not be in awe of God keeping the promises that He has made to us. Whether they be not exactly what we want or they be exactly what He has promised them to be. Now the southern kingdom, Judah was ruled by a better king for a while. They had Hezekiah. Hezekiah came and he ruled for 29 years. And it actually says that he was a good king. One of the 5 that were good kings in all of the northern and southern tribes of Israel. Hezekiah did what Moses did. Hezekiah did what Abraham had done. Hezekiah did what Joshua did. He trusted God. Brothers and sisters, it should not come as a shock to us that when he trusted God, things turned out well. My wife has a saying, and she will tell you this, and I do not tell you this with any animosity at all. She would say to me, there are many times that Ray has made decisions that I did not agree with. But she would tell you, but I just trusted that God would make them work right. That God would make them work. She trusted God over me, rightfully so, and God would make it work out right. I'll tell you one story. You know, it's always as amazing to me what small churches think sometimes. And I do not like the term small church. Oh, we're just a little church. I don't like that term at all. I serve a big God, so I'm in a part of a huge church. There just only might be a small part of that church gathered here. We're in Gridley, California. We have a gentleman that passes away who was a lawyer in town, and his family only wanted to have graveside services, and I said, you know what? The community needs more than that. Robert had such a huge influence on the community. The community needs more than that. Well, where could we even hold it at? And I says, well, we could hold it at the Veterans Hall. It'll seat about 500 people. Oh, there won't be that many people show up. I said, yeah, you know what? Let's have it there. We'll have it there, and the church, the Christian church, will take care of the cake and coffee for afterwards. Now understand, this congregation of 40 people. Some of the ladies in the church went into a panic. Ray, where are we going to come up with that much cake? Because let me tell you, there were 450 people showed up. My wife's comment was, if God could feed 5,000 people, he could certainly take care of cake for 400. You know what he did? And you know what we had left over? We had a whole sheet cake left over. And that sheet cake went down to the nursing home where Robert would go down and sing to the people, and they enjoyed cake. Trust God. Trust him. He'll take care of things. He'll make it work out. If the children of Judah and Israel would have done what God had asked them to do, they would still, I truly do believe that they would still be a nation that is powerful in the world today. Hezekiah is faced with the same thing that the northern tribe was faced with. He was faced with the Assyrian king who was going to come down and conquer them. We find that in 2 Kings 18:19 and 2 Kings 19:15 through 19. You find that there. We find that Hezekiah just took the letter that was written to him from the king of Assyria, and he took it into the temple and laid it out in front of God. And he fell to his knees and prayed to God about it. Don't let this happen. And God told him he's going to be okay. God said it's going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. And he does. God literally fought the Syrian army by himself. He goes out, and if you look in 2 Kings 19:35 through 37, it says that he destroyed the Assyrian army, and in destroying, he killed over 100,000 people. We're not talking about a small group that was coming. We're talking about the army of Assyria, one of the strongest nations in the world at that time. And this little tiny nation in Judah stands up to them and does what God has asked them to do, and God says, I'll take care of you. And he does. And you would think that the next king who saw this take place would have been a good king. You would have thought, man, this guy was having a lot of success. Things are going well. The country's doing well. The other nations are not trying to destroy us. This is a good thing. Nope. His son, Manasseh, is a horrible king. the very next king is a horrible king. And he is told what's going to happen to the nation of Israel if they don't do what they have been asked to do. He sends Isaiah. He sends Isaiah to him. And if you look at the whole chapter of Isaiah 3, he sends Isaiah to him and he tells him this is what's going to happen. And he, just like Ray, often did not pay attention. I got a better idea. Have you ever had any of those better ideas? I got a better idea. If I do this, it's better. I know God. I've watched my mom and my dad, and they did these things, and things went well, but I got a better idea. No. Usually, my better idea turned out to be a dumb idea. I know we're not supposed to use those terminologies, but I didn't use the word stupid, so that's good. But usually, my better idea will stick to dumb, but you might want to use the other word too. They're just not better. Our ideas, our way of doing things are not better than what God has for us to do. I do not know what he's going to do for us to get that idea. As people, as individuals, what he may do in your life may be different than what he does in mine. But he wants us to understand that he has a better thing for us, a better way for us. And even though Judah is warned of exile, they are told that they're going to get to come back. They're going to get to come back to their homeland. They're going to get to come back and be a nation. They're not going to go forever. And the reason is because God needs the tribe of Judah. And he needs the tribe of Judah to keep his promise that he made to Abraham and the promise that he had made to David. And God keeps his promises. And so he will return the tribe of exile. We find that he tells them that in Isaiah the 14th. He says, you're going to come back. You're going to be purified because of what happens to you. And you're going to be able to come back. He has to do that so that he can keep his promise to bring the Messiah through Judah. If we look in the book of Isaiah, and Rhonda, did you print these out, or did you just print this chapter and verse out? Did you print the words out too? Is Isaiah 49:23? There we go. Or 49:6, because 23 was in the notes and it wasn't right. It is to light a thing that you should be my servants to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to bring back the preserved of Israel. I will make you as a light for the nations that my salvation may reach to the end, I think it's of the earth. That's the promise that God makes to them. That's the promise he makes to Judah. He tells them, you're going to come back. You are going to be my people. Judah is going to be a blessing to the entire world. And that is fulfilled in Jesus Christ. Isaiah prophesied about Jesus 700 years before Jesus was born. He told the people, and he provides a little glimpse of what Jesus was going to be like. Isaiah 53, 1 through 7. I think we have that one also. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. Who has believed what he has heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant and like a root out of the dry ground. He had no form. There's a song about this, isn't there? He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten, and I can't read the last little bit of it. What's it say at the very last of it? It's cut off. Go to the next verse then. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. And we like sheep have gone astray, and we have turned every one to his own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed, he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before the shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. You probably heard that read at communions. You've probably heard that read if you've been in the church for any time at all. You've heard that read numerous times. It is the picture of Jesus Christ, who took upon him all of the sin of mankind. Now picture that. If you picture the agony and the pain that Jesus was going through, he was going through all and taking upon himself all of the sins that had come before, clear back to Cain and Abel, clear back to Adam and Eve. He took all of that sin. He took the sin of his lifetime, and he was taking all of the sin that came after that, and that will come after we leave this earth. And it was all heaped upon him so that we, you and I, can be right in the sight of God. And God asks of us most of and some of the same things that he asked of the children of Israel. Jesus summed it up best, though, when they asked him what was the greatest commandment. And what did he tell them? Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. Brothers and sisters, think of what the world would look like if we as mankind did that. There would be no need for guns. There would be no need for wars. You wouldn't even have to lock your house. You could leave your keys in your car. If we just did what God has asked us to do. But we're a little bit like the Israelites. We do pretty well for a while. Have you ever tried to start a habit? Have you ever tried to start a habit? They say that it takes 21 days for a habit to become ingrained. I think they lie. I think it takes a lot longer than that. I really do. I think it takes a lot longer. I've been trying to read the Bible every day. Try to get up, cup of coffee, let the dog sit on my lap, read the Bible. I would love to tell you that happens every morning. I do get up and I do get a cup of coffee. And I do let the dog get on my lap. But there are times when I forget the crucial part of taking the time to read the Bible, to listen to the Bible, to see what God has to do. So some days I have to do like I did yesterday. I have to listen to Friday and Saturday. But that was a good one. I was only one day behind. Earlier, I had to listen to 4 days. You see, we struggle. We struggle in our relationship with God. It's hard for us to do that. I'm not sure why. I wish I had the answer for why. I mean, if I did, I could solve all of the world's problems. But I don't have that answer because I struggle myself with it. And I'm going to, when we go to Uganda, I've been asked to teach and talk to the leaders of the churches there that are going to be there. There's going to be somewhere between 30 and 40 of them. And I'm supposed to talk to them about what they need to do so that they can have a successful ministry. Whew. I've come up with 3 things. I think that they're important. I'm going to talk to them first that they need to make sure they've got a good, solid, that they take care of themselves spiritually. You know, some people want to take care of somebody else all the time. They're always worried about somebody else. I've got to take care of, parents were bad about this. I got to take care of my kids. I got to take care of my grandkids. You know, wives, I got to take care of my husband. No, the first thing you need to do is take care of yourself, especially spiritually. Take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. That's why when Rhonda deals with people that are doing hospice or they're on home health care, one of the things that she wants to say, is your wife able to get out of the house and get out and do some things on her own? Is your husband able to get out of the house and do some? Is there somebody here to come and take your place for 6, 7, 8 hours a day once in a while so that you can have a break, so that you can take care of yourself, so that you can continue to take care of somebody else? Okay, if that's important physically, think how much more important it is spiritually. And then secondly, I'm going to tell them, you need to take care of your family. I've watched way too many preachers whose kids are off who knows where, doing who knows what. Because they were so busy doing what is number 3 that they didn't do number 1 and they didn't do number 2. And number 3, take care of your church. Sorry, folks, you're 3rd on the list. I come first. When it comes to my relationship with God, I've got to come first. Because if I don't have a relationship with Him, what am I going to tell you? What can I even teach you? What can I even show to you if I don't have a relationship with Him? And if my family's in turmoil and everything is torn up, what can I do? I can't. And I know preachers who go through that. And it's horrible. I was talking with Sam Risley last night, and he was talking about a young minister back in the Midwest whose wife left him. They were young. They weren't even 30 years old. She left him. But he says, I love that church there. He says, I really love that church. And I said, well, why is that, Sam? And he says, because they didn't give up on him. They loved him because they knew it wasn't him, it was her. And they loved the daylights out of him. And they stood with him. And he's successful. And he's going to get married. He says he's getting married here this summer. He's marrying a wonderful woman. You see, even though somebody walked out, he took care of himself. And the church helped take care of him, and he took care of his church. "700 years before Jesus came, Isaiah told us and told the world what he was going to look like. I want to read the application that they have because theirs is a whole lot better than anything I could have came up. And this is the application that Randy Frazee had in his message that he spoke on this chapter. He says this. He says, we have a simple challenge to live the motto, no king but King Jesus. Jesus exhorted us to seek God's kingdom first in Matthew 6:33. And he says this, he says, the USA is a nation among nations. As people, we must seek God and obey God's will. He says, sadly, the USA defies God in many ways. For example, denying the teaching of creation and intelligent design in public schools. Let us pray to have Jesus on the throne of our lives and to live out the motto, no king, but King Jesus. Brothers and sisters, if we want to turn the communities of Willamina and Grand Round and Sheridan upside down, all we have to do, it's really simple. I say that with a smile on my face. We just have to have our King be Jesus. And when the people see how God blesses those who honor him, they're going to tell you this one thing. They're going to say, I want some of that. I want some of that. And then we can tell them how they can have it. The same thing. You know, I go to bed at night, I sleep well almost every night, unless I've ate something that gives me indigestion. But I don't go to bed worried about where I'm going to be if I don't wake up. I don't go to bed worrying about who's going to be in charge the next day. I don't go to bed worrying about if we're going to be attacked by another nation. I don't go to bed worrying about that stuff. You know why? I know who wins. And as I told the Sunday school class this morning, I like to win. I wouldn't even let my kids win at tic-tac-toe. No way. If you want to beat me, you're going to beat me fair and square. I know who wins. I win because I know who I put my hope in. You win if you put your hope in Jesus Christ. Go to sleep easy. Wake up ready for the next day. This morning, who have you put your hope in? And who is the king of your life? If you're your own king, I'm just going to tell you the truth, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. If you have allowed Jesus to be the king of your life, you're in good shape. If you need to allow him to be that, if you need to do that today, I encourage you to do that. We're going to sing a hymn of invitation. But we need to be people who put God as our king.
In the morning when I rise, in the morning